I take pride in my home. It's not just a house, it's a symbol of everything I've worked for. A 4-bedroom beauty on Sunrise Avenue in the Crestwood Estates community, surrounded by a lush, green lawn I've poured my heart into. My name is Marcus Carter, a 38-year-old structural engineer who moved here 8 months ago after years of saving. The lawn was the first thing I noticed when I toured the property, overgrown but full of potential. I spent weekends reviving it, setting up a watering schedule and planting flower beds. It was my sanctuary. That is, until Evelyn Warwick moved in 3 doors down. Evelyn, or Mrs. Warwick, as she insisted on being called despite 2 divorces, made it clear from day one that she didn't want me here. It started with icy stares at the community pool and anonymous complaints to the HOA about my trash cans being too visible. They weren't, or my hedges being a 1/4 inch too tall. Also false. I tried to win her over, dropped off homemade cornbread, offered to fix her faulty sprinkler. Each time, she'd flash a fake smile and say, "I'll manage, thank you," her tone dripping with disdain. Annoying, but I could handle it. What I couldn't ignore began 3 weeks ago. At 3:14 a.m. on a Tuesday, I was jolted awake by screeching tires. From my window, I saw a white BMW SUV tear across my corner lot, leaving deep ruts in my lawn. Groggy, I snapped photos for insurance and went back to bed, assuming it was a joyriding teenager. The next night, at 3:12 a.m., it happened again. Same SUV, different path, carving a crisscross of destruction. This time, I recorded it on my phone. The BMW X5 had a distinctive chrome grille and a blue charm dangling from the rearview mirror, Evelyn's car. I installed a security camera and stayed up the next night. At 3:09 a.m., there she was, pausing at the stop sign before flooring it across my lawn, her face lit by the dashboard, laughing as her tires churned my grass. I was livid. The next morning, I confronted her at her doorstep, video in hand. Her shock flickered to indifference. "That could be anyone's car," she scoffed. "Besides, that strip of grass is practically a shortcut. You people always overreact." "You people?" I pressed, my blood boiling. "Newcomers," she said with a smirk. "This neighborhood has standards, Mr. Carter. Some of us know what they are." I warned her I'd report her to the HOA and police if it continued. She laughed, boasting about her late husband's 15-year reign as HOA president and her sway with the board. "Do what you must," she said, slamming the door. I filed a complaint with the HOA, attaching the video. 2 days later, their response: "We can't identify the vehicle. Install better lighting or barriers." That night, Evelyn drove across my lawn twice, honking mockingly by my window. It was war. Sleep deprivation started affecting my work. I nodded off in a client meeting, nearly approving a flawed blueprint. My boss, Nathan, noticed my exhaustion and asked what was wrong. I showed him the videos. "Sounds like my old neighbor who let his dog ruin my yard," he said, stroking his beard. I got creative. "Ever thought about reinforcing your lawn?" His words sparked an idea. As an engineer, I knew how to protect structures from pressure. Why not my lawn? Commercial grass protectors were too tame. They'd handle occasional parking, not a vengeful SUV. I needed something with bite. I designed custom tire spikes using my 3D printer, 3-inch hollow plastic rods that would puncture tires slowly, causing flats within an hour without dangerous blowouts. I mapped Evelyn's usual routes across my lawn and took a day off to set my trap. Using a soil aerator as cover, I buried the spikes in her paths, angling them for maximum effect while hiding them under fresh grass seed. My neighbor, Henry Lawson, a retired principal, wandered over as I worked. "Fighting a losing battle with those ruts?" he asked, eyeing the tire tracks. I admitted Evelyn was the culprit. Henry chuckled darkly. "She's been a pain since she moved here," reported my bird feeder for attracting pests. "Word is, she threw a fit when your HOA application passed," said you'd tank property values. His words confirmed what I'd suspected. This wasn't just vandalism. It was personal, rooted in prejudice. That night, I set my alarm for 2:45 a.m., brewed coffee, and waited by the window with my camera feed. At 3:05 a.m., Evelyn's BMW roared in, hitting my spike zone dead on. No immediate reaction, just as planned. She sped off, oblivious. 15 minutes later, her SUV limped back, hazard lights flashing, front tires flat. Evelyn stepped out, flashlight in hand, cursing as she inspected the damage. Showtime. Car trouble, Mrs. Warwick? I called from my porch, strolling toward her. She whirled, her flashlight blinding me. You sabotaged my tires! She shrieked. That's illegal! I smiled calmly. I reinforced my lawn against trespassers. Driving over it has consequences. I showed her the latest video, her face clear as day. The police might be interested in this, plus 3 weeks of footage. Harassment, vandalism, maybe hate crimes, given your "you people" comment. Her bravado crumbled. What do you want? Money for your grass? I want peace, I said. Stop destroying my property. Defeated, she muttered. Fine, I'll leave your lawn alone. I refused to help with her tow truck and walked away as her battery died from the hazard lights. Karma was swift. By morning, her stranded BMW drew a crowd. Henry and others whispered knowingly. A tow truck arrived, but smoke poured from the hood. Her radiator had cracked, jumping the curb, leaking coolant all night. Evelyn stormed out, blaming me. The driver, Hank, pointed to a coolant trail leading across my lawn. This happened from driving over curbs, ma'am. Neighbors chimed in, admitting they'd seen her SUV at 3 a.m. Multiple nights. Evelyn's face burned as Henry said, Respect is earned, Evelyn, not demanded. She stormed off as her car was towed. 3 days later, at the neighborhood watch meeting, I arrived late after a police visit. Evelyn had accused me of vandalizing her car. I showed officers Reed and Taylor my videos, explaining my lawn aerators were on private property, not booby traps. Evelyn's claim unraveled as the officers confirmed her repeated trespassing. I .. I declined to press charges, hoping she'd stop. As we faced off, she whispered, Why didn't you press charges? I replied, We're neighbors, Evelyn. This doesn't have to be war. She walked away without a word. That night, I returned home to a nightmare. My house was splattered with yellow paint, the words, Go away, scrawled across my garage. Stunned, I called Officer Reed. 3 cruisers arrived, and neighbors gathered, horrified. A warrant revealed wet paint cans in Evelyn's garage. Handcuffed, she screamed, You'll never belong here, as they took her away. She faced charges for vandalism, property damage, and hate crimes. The community rallied. Neighbors scrubbed paint alongside me. The HOA covered professional cleaners. By morning, my house was spotless. Over weeks, Crestwood Estates transformed. Evelyn moved to Florida, her house sold to a young family. I hosted a barbecue, my lawn lush again, kids chasing fireflies where ruts once scarred it. I joined the HOA board, forging bonds I'd longed for. Evelyn's hatred, meant to drive me out, united us instead. As Henry said, communities are defined by how they respond to their worst members. Crestwood responded with solidarity, proving I belong. Sometimes, the path to acceptance runs through resistance, and a few well-placed spikes. What do you think? Was Marcus justified in his lawn trap, or did he go too far? Share your thoughts in the comments and let's debate. Where's the line between pranks and vengeance in neighbor disputes? Your opinion could spark the next big discussion, so don't hold back.